What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a 2012 album by Abney Park. Basically this product is called Ancient World and it came out in the late spring of 2012. So the thing about this particular product here is if you like the styles of steampunk, like folks like Ghostfire, some of those particular type folks, and the Filthy Spectacular, some of those particular type folks in particular, it's another good asset within that particular fold. It seems within the pitch behind it that basically what was said is that Wikipedia calls Abney Park as like the quintessential spokespeople for steampunk culture as far as this pitch can happen. Just to be able to say, steampunk is a pretty vicious type subgenre within those pitches. Don't know how much it commonplace kind of pops up today in like the early 2020s, mid 2020s pitches like that. But just to be able to say, pretty big thing back in like the mid-late 2000s and like the early 2010s pitches like that. I remember Jackal Goldkick showing me like fairs of like Ghostfire pitches like that. It's a pretty good band. I've reviewed everything Ghostfire has done. They don't do as much music nowadays, but the vocalist from that particular band went on to become a part of like the band The Filthy Spectacular, which I'm getting to review in more nowadays as far as this pitch can happen. I actually need to get back to that particular band, but I did at least review one of their projects. But another notable kind of steampunk band, like Wikipedia said, some pitches like that would be Abney Park as far as this pitch can happen. Now, particularly Jackal Goldkick back in late 2021 showed me a song called Steampunk Revolution, which is pretty excellent type fair to be able to get within that pitch. Pretty much appreciate like this full bound product within the fair behind it. There's 15 songs in this 2012 album. Now this does not have like a separate kind of wiki article about it, but basically on the Abney Park page on Wikipedia it just has like track lists for all their albums that they put out up to like a decent while. So this is pretty notable type one. I want to say there's at least a music video for Steampunk Revolution, which is some pretty good type fair. I don't know how many other singles they would have had, but it's just in the pitch. I want to say there are some other candidates that probably could have been some nice ones. I want to say Automaton is a pretty nice one to be able to get within that fair. Jealousy is pretty good social step out, and like some other ones like The Story That Never Starts, some of those type pitches, just in the aspect of just being able to have some of these. There are some ones that do have some social type moments on here that have some good aspects, pretty similar to Steampunk Revolution, but it's a real dynamite type single within the pitch. I feel like this particular subgenre probably could have popped off within the sentiments. I think it did reach a pretty good notoriety within it, but it's pretty similar to Ghostfire, where it just felt like it was kind of relatively curved just because of the pitch, like the old world type style. This is basically like getting music crafted to like the format of like the swashbuckling kind of more pioneer kind of just buccaneer type aspect when you think of things from like 1790s, 1800s, some of those type fairs where there were more ships cruising across like not just, to say within the aspect of whether it be pirate ships, but just kind of sailor type ships sailing across like the seven seas, some of those type aspects just within the prospect of it, just within the particular type fair. So it just has that particular format of like that subgenre, but some good type pitches within the aspect. Now these guys are not quite as full bound kind of amidst like the sea shantiness as much as Ghostfire, but it's within the pitch that they do have like a lot of good formats here within the pitch. A pretty good format within the aspect. I feel like this is probably a more commercial type aspect of steampunk compared to Ghostfire, which was kind of within the pitch. It's just kind of the concept that Ghostfire kind of had I did wind up appreciating every single Ghostfire product within all the ones I reviewed, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying that their particular products like Drunken Lullabies and like some of their projects like Drunken Lullabies are a little bit trickier to apprehend as far as this pitch can happen. I question, I want to say Ancient World has the aspect of probably being more available within the pitch. At least it has a wiki article about it, but I just would say it might, I don't know, I just question like the concept just because the format of like steampunk is just kind of in a more kind of subject kind of popularity within the pitch. I mean, it has its popularity, but are you going to hear this on like local rock radio, and are you going to hear this on like classic oldies stations, 60s, where they're playing folks like Metallica, AC/DC, and Led Zeppelin, some of those type folks? Maybe not as much full bound, but within the pitch, still pretty excellent subgenre within the pitch. So basically, out of 14 songs in this album, there's actually 15 songs in here, but one of which is just the Steampunk Revolution instrumental, which is pretty good instrumental to be able to get here. So out of the 14 songs, we wound up recommending 12. So I'm going to give this album a 9.25 out of 10 within pitch. If it had been 13 out of 14, I would have given this album a 10 out of 10. It was just within pitch. It's almost up to the point of getting like a 9.5. I just feel like 12 out of 14 just within pitch is still just the fair within it. So yeah, 9.25 out of 10 with the excellence behind it. The only two songs I don't recommend on here would just be the Ballad of Captain Robert and then the song Fix the Boat or Swim. So talk about those real quick before I get to the Steampunk Revolution single. Basically, Fix the Boat or Swim is just kind of an optimistic type one, not to have a full-bound problem with that, but just the particular atmosphere amidst like Fix the Boat or Swim just has like a more kind of hot to it, just more shucks, got to get things done kind of within the aspect, just within the tone behind it. But just, I don't know, I feel like the more aspects, steampunk just has a particular aspect of just being more beleaguered within the sense when it actually switches like the currency behind it, or when it actually switches the currents about it, and by currents I mean like water currents, just the flow of the direction as to how the aspect of like the push kind of about it goes. I would have to say the currency about it is just kind of the tone as far as saying that it just doesn't have as much fittiness. I just feel like the more typical kind of beleaguered and malaise type assets when you think of folks like Ghostfire and this particular band here, Abney Park's just been pitched, it just nails it better. Just some better moments, like the aspect between songs like Terrible Affliction, Waiting for You, Ancient World, some of these type ones, Jealousy, some of these type pitches on here just have a lot more affluence. That not to say like they can't nail, but I just feel like the aspect, getting like a song, I probably would prefer formats more like Automaton, that's just a little bit more of like an electro kind of club hop, just make you feel good with the energy of it more so than just like the more kind of just upbeat tightness about it. That's the problem with Fix the Boat or Swim. And then the Ballad of Captain Robert was just kind of a swashbuckling type one that just didn't have the appeal. Now this is more traditional kind of, the Ballad of Captain Robert's more traditional kind of the Ballad of Captain Robert's more traditional kind of steampunk within a sense as far as what's going to happen, but just not as affable within the pitch. This is more traditional, like in the sense if you are actually having some of those formats of actually going across the ocean, some of those type formats, just more amidst like the lifestyle, not so much a disc listening to it in like your Honda or something like that across like car traverse trips, but actually amidst like the lifestyle. I mean, I would say with an aspect, depending upon how deeply you follow this particular movement, there actually are lifestyles associated with this for folks where this is probably like their daily living within the pitch of this, the aspect of this traverse within that commerce of just being more seaside. But it's just kind of the concept. Some of these type ones have a little bit more serious type connotation about it, but I don't know, I just look at the pitch, just not as affable within the sense behind it. There are some ones on here that nail it well. I do feel like The Story That Never Starts, Scupper, Shanty, some of these type ones, Steampunk Revolution definitely, but Jealousy and Ancient World are some pretty good ones within those pitches, but I just didn't have as much Ballad of Captain Robert was just not as affable in my opinion. But I look after here, so the pitch behind it, this album gets a 9.25 out of 10. So the Steampunk Revolution lead single is pretty nice one. This is the one that Jackal Goldkick showed me back in 2021. I might eventually put like that voice clip that I initially thought of that song back in those days up. Probably by that stage, pretty much would be on the cusp of being 4 years by the particular pitch. By the time this review comes out, and then just the pitch of getting to the point of putting that message up. I just had to say here, Steampunk Revolution is like a jangly kind of dance club heat to kind of get in like a pioneer sense that I'd say. Just some rock flavor about it, but it jumps pretty well. So this is basically like getting a song from like the 1800s, just like a dance club type format, which is an interesting type pitch just because it's very old world within the pitch behind it. Just feels like something ripped out of like Pirates of the Caribbean, some of those type pitches, something like that. Feels like Johnny Depp should make a cameo in this particular music video to some of that particular type pitch. Not to be sarcastic about it, because this is pretty excellent type fare. It's just pretty excellent within the tone behind it. Real awesome type pitch. Just has an original style, really nails it. This is like a more commercial type format. I like the pitch. Is something that you would have gotten from Ghostfire, just a little bit more. I mean, this has over 1 million plays on Spotify, so it had more modest kind of severe popularity compared to Ghostfire back in those days. But it's a good aspect here, but still kind of feels like a more kind of quieter subgenre within pitch. But it's a real excellent type fare. Real has some commotion about it that is pretty supreme within the pitch behind it. So real excellent single. Does have a music video for it. Pitches like that good type fare. So just one of those type ones. Like I said, there are some other moments similar to it. I feel like this is pretty much like one of the more dynamo type ones on here in terms of the pitch, like the immediacy factor. But it just depends upon how well your learning curve to this particular type music and subgenre kind of goes. I feel like Automaton is definitely one of the top 3 best songs on this product in terms of like social kind of dance club commotion. If you're not more amidst like the more old world type fashion, I'd probably say that Jealousy is a good nice one and like a cabaret type sense within that style as well. But that one is more amidst like the old world type style. But I feel like at least Steampunk Revolution and Automaton are like the 2 most immediate type ones that just have that particular pitch of just like the ferocity of just taking something with a little bit more of like a differential type tone and something like a good dance club type format. So it works for that. So just to say here, I'll go ahead and talk about Automaton and get to that one. It's like a searing kind of electro dance club blitz to kind of get here. Just a great social heat. I'd have to say probably could have been a single definitely, and the song pounds pretty well. So just a great 1-2 punch just to be able to say, if you don't want to fall into the trap, just like when you think of Ghostfire, when you think of some folks probably feel like Ghostfire, one of their best songs would be The Last Steampunk Waltz, just saying saying something like The Last Steampunk Waltz, where you feel like that's an excellent song, but you need something else like an immediate kind of 1-2 punch to get more belly up on like the concept of having more hits to them. I'd probably say the next one I'd probably go for within the pitch of Abney Park would go from Steampunk Revolution to Automaton. Just great dynamite type pitch within the dance club type pitch behind it. And Real nice one on here with just like some good swashbuckle type personality would be Terrible Affliction. It's like a swash kind of day for activity, I had to say here. Just some upside down kind of commerce. Definitely good one to be hungover just within pitches like that. Just kind of aspect of just like some after effects, of just like some jury kind of times, just like some jury kind of personals as far as this pitch kind of has. So just personal type too, and just kind of amidst like the format, just Tibble type fair, just an aspect of like that out and about, but just kind of the concept of just like in an old world kind of asset within the tone behind it. This would probably be one, like the concept of like a song going out with like a song like Jealousy, some of those type pitches, to just around the drinks and those type fairs, just having like some hazy type times. It's like probably like the morning after some of those type pitches, it just got to get back to work, some of those type formats. This particular album's theme, apart from like Steampunk Revolution and Automaton, you're not going to find a ton of formats that don't have like some degree of like just being amidst like a more Brazil or just European type format, something that's probably ripped out of like the Pioneer days. I would say within the format behind it that that it does have like makeshift kind of fare on here, just within a more old world type sense. It just nailed that particular vibe. Scupper Shanty is a nice one. It's like a militant kind of late day makeshift fair to kind of get within those pitches. This is probably good for some good commerce just to miss that. Just kind of more like there are, like I was saying, there's songs more than others that are just more amidst the lifestyle, but this is at least one that has like that format of this. If you're just listening to this just to miss work shift, it's kind of the fair that this is a good nice one. Scupper Shanty reminds of like Rammstein, definitely just that same sort of militant type draw about it that just feels very productive, and Factory is like a productive kind of push to kind of get this one. So this one, this great starting point just for the format if you're more into like more great neighbor of like the Rammstein community as far as this person can have just that same sort of format just within a more international kind of sense. So it's a good type pitch for that. Another good social hop would be Jealousy. It's like a brooding kind of dark cabaret, I'd have to say here, just some social commotion. Definitely a good combo with the single Steampunk. Good combo with the single Steampunk Revolution as far as this pitch can happen. Just a thrilling night to kind of get within some of these assets here as far as this pitch can happen. So just good 1, 2, 3 type punch, some of these type formats. There is some social spark on here. I feel like Ghostfire may be a little bit more crazy within the aspect in terms of like the more moments for just going out for several rounds of drinks, but there are some ones. It's just a balanced kind of format of like the Steampunk type style. This, I definitely feel like with folks saying that this is probably the most commercial Steampunk and this is like the quintessential one, I'd have to say within the pitch is that you do get this pretty balanced just with like the palette that you get on this album. So even if there aren't like 9 or 10 kind of social type moments within the aspects, the ones that are on here are pretty damn good within the pitch. So it's just a good format for that. Can't Talk About It's like a traditional kind of almost alternative rock type ballad, but just in a more old world type sense. It's like a beleaguered kind of ballad commute stretch kind of get here. It's kind of a heartland stretch in like the 1800s type format and like a pioneer type sense that I'd say. So it's a good type pitch for that. So Can't Talk About It's just your typical kind of put your lighters in the sky type music within the pitch behind it. Just kind of a more warming type ballad within the pitch behind it. Just more personal type one, like a more kind of just smoky type sense just in the aspect. Just like kind of heartache type one just in the pitch, just in a more old world type fashion. Ragtime Punk stealing from the past is a nice one here as well. It's like a feeling jolly kind of saloon music hop to kind of get within those pitches. Just some routine kind of grimacing as far as those pitches can happen. So the Tibble type format, very similar to like the format that Ghostfire kind of does within those pitches. It is kind of old town type hopping just in the pitch. It is out and about just within the format of disc going out to saloon house pitch like that, grabbing some beer, some of those type pitches. Just kind of the commerce of disc. It's more in like a day drinking type fashion. It's not so much night oriented, going out for round of drinks pitches like that, just getting crunk within the aspect of like some night type fare, but just more amidst like the day errands, maybe grabbing like a quick beer or two, just amidst like the aspect that still having some errands to pay and some pitches like that. Just kind of a break and just like a mild kind of reprieve from like the concept, but just like the typical kind of just push, like lunch break type fare. Just some good kind of lunchtime kind of grimacing day fare as far as those pitches can have. So it's a good aspect there. I don't know if I talked about Trick the Machine. I think this is a nice one as well. It's a good aspect here. It's like a frisked kind of seaside day routine to kind of get within these aspects. It's kind of some villa music, definitely. It's kind of aspect of just more maybe South America type places, just more amidst like the Tibble type conduct you would see in movies when they're going and searching for like treasure or something like that. Just kind of smoke some. Good song to smoke some too. I don't talk as commonplace as much. This is more of like a drinking type album more so than a smoke type product, but there are some moments just for like that relative type fare. Another one like that would kind of be like Ancient World, the title track, and like Trick the Machine are like two good type ones that kind of smoke something too. So, and this song's like a good chillax type tune. So this is just real. This one's just a different kind of a little bit more comfortable within the pitch. It's kind of the format, not so much frenetic or paranoid or just an aspect of feeling upside down pitch like that. It's just kind of the format here, just adjusting to like lifestyles as far as He's kind of adjusting to like the dismantle as far as those pitches kind of happen, just kind of feeling beleaguered, but just within the concept of just being a little bit more within the format kind of it. Just kind of like recluse type music within the pitch behind him, but just kind of the aspect, just like a villa, something like that. So it's good type tone for that. Good, nice ones. The story that never starts is a quality one as well. It's another social type one, like some Benny senses, like a good malaise combo with steampunk revolution. Like I was saying, good pitch for that. It's like some dismantled kind of socialized. So this one goes within the same hand and pitch as like jealousy as far as those first going to happen. Pretty frenetic just in the pitch behind it. Another one that's kind of within those aspects would be things. Another one that's kind of within those aspects, pretty similar to the story that never starts, would be things could be worse. It's a good 1-2 punch with those particular type ones. It's kind of the dismantlement of just feeling disarrayed. It's kind of aspect of this, like a lot of this album feels pretty upside down within the pitch. It's kind of the format of just not being in like the current kind of it's not being within like the normal click of like the normal on point typeness within the aspect behind it. This feels kind of dismantled and just kind of out of aim from like normal formats as far as those pitches can have. It's just within the pitch as far as saying, but Ghostfire kind of had that particular pitch as well, but some pretty excellent type. Some of these folks like Ghostfire and Abney Park are great straightening type music to kind of get your head right as far as those pitches can have just within the tone. Just kind of has some of these folks like Abney Park are just some great straightening type music, kind of get your head right as far as the concept of just being drunk for a while, pitches like that, just kind of getting tore up within a sense, but getting back on. It's kind of the concept of just kind of being in a disarray as far as those pitches can happen, but it's a good type fare for that. Really works as like excellent kind of dislodged music as far as this pitch can happen. But another nice one on here would probably, I don't know if I talked about Terrible Affliction, I think I talked about that one. So Ancient World, the title track is a real excellent one as well. It's like a moody kind of day drifting, I'd have to say here, just stock kind of villa music I'd have to say within those pitches, pretty similar to like Trick the Machine. It's a little bit more amidst, this song is amidst more retreated, I'd have to say here, just kind of recluse task as far as those pairs going to happen. So yeah, I'd say Ancient World is just more recluse within a sense as far as those pitches can happen. Just more amidst, like, it's more retired, just amidst the aspect of just not as commonplace, kind of stepping out within the pitch. Just kind of the product of it, just good type fare, but just in a more old world type setting. It's kind of neighborhood type music within a pitch, but just kind of in a more old fashioned type sense within the pitch behind it. I mean, this is something that's kind of adaptable within the sense that going from listening to things like Metallica, just more amidst like day fair and factory type product, just makeshift pitches like that. A lot of this just kind of has the format of just being a little, within certain senses, it's easy to get separated from like being 10 toes down in pitches like that, just within the concept that it's not necessarily ethereal, but it's just within the pitch as far as just the product of just saying within this particular aspect that there's kind of a lifestyle associated with this particular album. Some excellent type product compared, just like I said, going from things like Metallica ripped out of like the 90s type fare that's just amidst like the summer commerce and job fair pitches like that, some of those type products just in the pitch. It's just kind of the format. There's other folks like that, Korn, some of those type folks in a more haunting sense, so it just kind of has that particular, and these folks are not as ghostly as Ghostfire as well. You know, Ghostfire kind of had more particular kind of hauntingness, just an aspect, just like that beleaguered kind of loomingness that just felt a lot more just like a shrill, kind of a static and shrill within the aspect, just more banshee. Like this particular one has some of that particular type product, but this is more amidst like the droopiness of like the lifestyle, just kind of committing to like the product of this having like the old world kind of day fair. It's just kind of something of just realizing that if you do live in a place where you only get like a new album or just something like that music to listen to maybe once or twice a year or less than that, it's just kind of the pitch that this could be like your stock kind of music for a while as far as this pitch can happen. But this is kind of miss like the lifestyle of this not being so much amid. This is very much like far from like city kind of aspects of like, you know, commotions, minus like the two singles like Steampunk Revolution and Automaton. It's just not amidst like the social commerce of, hey, I'm gonna just go and hit up like a CD store and get like 5 CDs, something like that, some of those type pitches, or go out to a dance club. This is more saloon music more so than like it's more saloon type music more so than raves, and kind of like this is more saloon type music in pubs more so than raves and dance club glitz and karaoke and pitches like that within the tone. But still some good aspects here to just be able to get towards that. So Waiting for You is a quality one as well. It's like some sunset haze and kind of old world kind of smoky dance out and just be able to get here. It's another good this is another good social one. Like I was saying that when I was saying that there's only about 4 of these or 5 of these, it's actually a little bit more than that. I feel like there's some ones like Things Could Be Worse, Waiting for You, Jealousy, Scupper Shanty, Automaton, Steampunk Revolution, The Story That Never Starts. So pretty much I would say actually in the aspect behind it, actually about half this album particularly has like some social pizzazz, but pretty good within that fare, just in a more old world type sense. This particular song, Waiting for You, reminds a lot of Ghostfire. It's just that same sort of haunting kind of looming type of this old world kind of pioneer type fashion that this is steampunk at its finest within some of those type pitches. I'd have to say good type format for that. Now, I don't know if I talked about Things Could Be Worse. It's another nice one here. It's like a dismantled kind of rickety knight, just out of sorts, I'd have to say, just within the particular fair behind it. It's one of those moments like the movie where the hero's kind of like, damn it, what's going on? And it's just having like a assortment of just like not some good times, just bad hair days, pitches like that. It's like some awkward kind of venue commotions for what's first going to happen. Just going out for a round of drinks, just kind of losing at like a poker game, some of those type pitches, just from the aspects for what's first going to happen. Just kind of the dismantlement. It's a good aspect to be able to get this here. So yeah, I just would say that's the concept about this particular album here. So I think I talked about every song within those particular aspects as far as those fairs going to have. So I give this album a 9.25 out of 10. The social score I'll probably give, I would say like a 9 out of 10 within the pitch. I mean, it's a good aspect here, but it only had one single. It's definitely pretty commercial for like the aspect as far as like steampunk and trying to revolutionize that subgenre within pitch. So I think it probably was pretty large in like the early mid 2010s pitches like that. Was definitely attempting to do it. Steampunk Revolution, the single, at least had over 1 million plays on Spotify within the pitch. It had like some relative kind of like obscure kind of popularity, at least within the relative type sense of underground type fair, but it's just kind of the concept. It didn't have a second single. Definitely had some moments that probably could have been. I feel like songs like Things Could Be Worse, Jealousy, Waiting for You, some of these type of ones. Definitely Automaton's a real excellent type one, like I've been saying. Some of these type ones, like The Story That Never Starts, some of these type pitches. I mean, it really nails the particular aspect of just nailing like this particular kind of swashbuckle type style, this old world type fashion, just in a more kind of this socialized type fashion. Is basically like taking like a pretty suave type chap out of like 1890, something like that, and then just putting him in like 2012 as far as this pitch can happen. Just the social commotion of just taking something from the 1800s, making it with like the social dynamo and pizzazz of something that just is actually fun, despite the fact that it probably wasn't that fun back in those particular days. So just nails that particular fair, does it pretty well. Pretty social type product, like I've been saying. It's just good product. You go out for drinks and flirts as far as those pitches can happen. It's a good aspect to have like some good pizzazz about it. So non-social was this kind of concept. This is more within the perspective. Just not enough promotion. The movement probably, I would say, it's not like it didn't get large, but I think probably could have been promoted better. Probably could have been promoted further within those pitches. So in terms of the future, like apparently, as I'm looking amongst like Abney Park, they apparently Wikipedia lists that they have albums at least out until 2020 as far as those first can happen. They have been around since at least the 90s, so they've been doing this for like a pretty thorough type while within the pitch behind. I'll probably get to some more of these. Just have to figure out which particular ones I'd like to get to. They have quite a few more albums than Ghostfire did, so it's just the pitch. I'll just have to dive into some of these, figure out which ones I'd particularly fuck with. There's just some good type fare. Pretty much like a virtual classic, definitely a steampunk classic. I had to say, easy enough to be able to say that. Just real dynamite type production, real dynamite, just overall type product. Just the social pizzazz off the meter for the most part. It's old world but in fashion, but it brings it like a pretty good pizzazzfulness. You have to have a mild kind of learning curve, but once you get past that, it's really just excellent in spades.